Hey guys, welcome to So Bliss. Today I'm going to show you how to make the shorties and bummies from the Chicka Chicka Bum Bums pattern. This pattern is from Peekaboo Pattern Shop. They have a great selection of patterns and I really like this one, how versatile it is. You can make the bummies, the shorties, and the skirted version. And then along with that, there's the waistband version, the elastic waistband version, or the yoga waistband version. So there's lots of varieties that you can do with this one, which I really like. So today I'm going to show you how to do the bummies with a waistband and the shorties with an elastic waistband. Then in another video, which I'll link down below, I'm going to show you how to do the skirted version with a yoga waistband. So I'll make sure to cover all the varieties so you could do whatever you want, mix and match everything. I love how quickly you can make these and how versatile in age range they are. The pattern goes from a preemie size to 12. So you have a great variety for a big selection of kids. Now the first thing that you're going to need is your fabric. And I got all of mine from the Peekaboo Fabric Shop. Yes, the two are related, Peekaboo Pattern Shop and Peekaboo Fabric Shop. So they have a great selection over there as well. So I'm going to be using this fun shark fabric. This is actually a swim fabric. So I'm going to show you how to make the shorties into a swimsuit. Then I am also making the bummies, and I've started those already because I'm going to show you how to put on the waistband for that. And I used this fun turtle fabric and then this fun green to match it. So I'm really excited about that. And also, if you go click over to the skirted version, you'll see a fun mermaid pattern fabric. I'll put the link down below so you can go check that out. Then if you're doing the elastic waistband, you're just gonna need some elastic. And this is 3/4 inch wide elastic. It's just a knit elastic. So I got that at Joann's. I'll put a link down below for where you can get that as well. And then you're just going to need all of your basic sewing supplies. So let's get started. You're first gonna need to go print out your pattern. And I like how these patterns you can print out from home. They're quick and easy. They also have a layers option. So if you wanna just select the layer or the size that you want to make, you can just print out that option. I like printing out all of them so then I can go back and trace and make my own pattern so then I have a master pattern. So just a little tip for you when you're printing out your patterns at home. So once you have your size printed out, make sure you see there's a diaper pattern piece and then there's an underwear pattern piece. So depending on what size you're doing, make sure you're doing it for the right style as well. So for my shorties, I am making the shorty version out of the undie version. So size 3T, but the underwear version. It's just a slight difference, making sure the fit is really nice for the child wearing it. So I have my pattern pieces cut out and I'm gonna lay them right sides together. So it'll look just like this. And I can go along these edges and right along here, these curved edges on the left and the right side. I'm going to be using a serger on mine when I stitch my seams. That just works really nicely when you're working with knits. If you don't have a serger, you can still use a sewing machine. And just check and see if you have a stretch stitch on your sewing machine. Usually the manual will tell you. And if you don't, just use a zigzag stitch. That will help so when the fabric stretches, the stitches also will stretch and they won't pop. So back to putting the two pieces together, right sides together. I'm gonna go over my serger and stitch down this seam right here, just to the end point, and this side as well, just to that end point where it curves off right along there. Just stitching those sides together. After you have those two edges stitched down, then I'm going to open it up. And if I flip it to the bottom, you'll notice these two edges, still I have the right sides together, will match up. And that is the crotch seam. So here's the leg hole, here's another leg hole. So now I need to go stitch that down. So I'll show you one more time how I got to that point, just in case. I just want to make sure I don't confuse you guys. So here I have it, how I laid it and stitched it. So I opened it up, put the seams together that I just sewed, and go down to the bottom and grab the seams that I just sewed. If you grab those two, then you can match those up. And I'll match up those seams because it'll just look really nice if they line up perfectly. And I'm going to stitch that edge right there. So from this point right here all the way over to this point. So I'll serge that together. Once you have that seam stitched, then it's gonna look like a pair of shorts. So now we're gonna finish off the leg bands that go on the bottom. So I'm gonna set this off to the side, and I'm gonna take my leg band pieces. We cut them on the fold, so they should be folded up just like this, and you should have 2 of them. So I'm gonna take mine and put them right sides together, and I'm gonna be doing this to both pieces. Right sides together, and I'm gonna be stitching right along this edge. Once you have those leg bands sewn on this short edge, you're then gonna take it and flip the right sides out and then tuck one side in, so you're putting the right sides together and folding it in half. So I'll match up the side seams, and I'm gonna pin mine. Mine is really slippery fabric because I'm doing the swim fabric, so putting pins in it will help a lot. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to match those side seams up together and find where the halfway point is. So right here, I have my seams matched up on this side, so right here would be my halfway point. And I'm gonna put a pin there so that when we put it onto the leg hole, it will stretch evenly all the way around. Once you have the leg bands pinned, then you can take your shorts and make sure that you're lining up the side seams, because that'll just make it look really nice when it's all done. And I'm gonna line those up, and I'm gonna be tucking this inside, so right sides together. So it might look funny at first, but it'll all work out once we sew it on. So here I have all my raw edges matching up. Here's my inseam, and I'm matching those up, and I'll grab a pin and pin it in place. And then I can go over and make sure you find the side of the shorts and match that up with the side of the leg cuff, and we'll pin that in place. Now I'm ready. I can take this over to my sewing machine, and you'll notice that the leg band is going to be smaller than the actual leg hole. So we're gonna stretch the leg band to fit. That's why I wanted to pin both sides, so that we got an even amount of fabric stretched around the leg hole. So I'm just gonna line up all my raw edges, and I can go along and pin more if I want to, and I'm gonna go and serge that on. Now when you're done sewing the leg holes, it'll look like this. Kind of funny, but if you turn it right sides out and straighten out those leg bands that we just sewed on, it's going to look really nice. Just like that. Now, one thing you could do is you could go along here and do top stitching if you want to, just to make sure that that seam right there stays in place. I'm not going to on this one. I like the way it looks without it, but if you want to, that's an option for you. So now I'm going to do the waistband. Now on this one, I'm going to be using an elastic waistband. There's that option, or there's just a waistband with the knit fabric that you have. So on this one, I'm going to be showing you how to put in the elastic, and then I am going to take those green turtle ones that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to put the waistband on those and show you how to do that. So don't worry, I'm going to show you both ways. So now I can take my shorts, and I'm going to cut a piece of elastic. On the pattern, it does give you a guide on how much elastic to use for which size you're using, or you could just measure on the child that you're making them for. Before we put the elastic into the shorts, first we need to sew the elastic together, and I'm going to go over about 1/2 inch, put the ends over each other, and I'm going to go do a zigzag right along here, go back and forth a couple times just to make it really strong, and then I'm going to show you how to put them into the shorts. Once you have the ends of the elastic sewn together, now we're going to pin it into the shorts. So I'm going to be matching up the side that I just sewed. I'm going to be matching that up with a seam, and it's going to match up right along the edge. So I'm actually going to be using a clip for this one. Just hold that in place. And then if you find the middle of the elastic and place that at the back of your shorts, so that back seam that we have, and put that in place. Then when I go to sew it in, I can just stretch that elastic to fit in the shorts. So now I'm going to take mine over to my serger, and I'm just going to be serging right along the edge, matching the raw edge up with the edge of the elastic. Now with the elastic sewn in, I'm then going to fold it over. So putting the wrong sides together, folding in that elastic so you can't see it anymore, just like that. Then I can go along and I'm going to top stitch right along the elastic just so it stays in place. So you might need to stretch a little bit as you sew it down. And I'm just going to top stitch all around, and that will finish off that waistband. Now with that top stitching done, you are then done with the shorties. So that is how you do with the elastic waistband. Now if you want to do just a knit waistband, here I have the Bummies, which are made exactly the same way as the shorties, but I'm going to show you how to put a waistband in that doesn't have elastic in it. So here I have the waistband piece that I cut out for, this is the 6-month size, and I'm going to put it right sides together, which it is right now, and I'm going to go sew along this edge right here, so along the short edge. Once that is sewn, then I'm going to turn it with wrong sides together, so folding the band in half. And this is just like how we did the leg bands. So don't get confused since it's a solid color. It's harder to tell what side is the right side and the wrong side on this. Okay. So once I get those raw edges lined up, then I'm going to actually take my shorts and I'm going to turn those wrong sides out. So with wrong sides out, I can then put the waistband lining up. I'm going to line up my seams in the back, just so that'll make it look really professional and really nice. Pin that in place. And just like we did before, I'm going to find the center of the band so that I can place that on the center front seam. So there's that center band front, and match the raw edges and match it up with that front and pin that in place. And now I can go over to my sewing machine, and I am going to stretch the waist as I sew so that it will fit in these Bummies. And we're just making sure it gets an even amount of stretch on either side of the Bummies. After you've sewn in that waistband, then just turn it right sides out and flip that up. And again, if you want to, you can top stitch right along here to finish that off, but you don't have to. That is completely optional. It's just for looks if you want that look. But I think I'm going to leave it how it is. And now you are all done with your shorties and Bummies. Make sure to check out the video on how to also make them into a skirt with the shorties or the Bummies underneath, and it'll also have a yoga waistband. I'll put the link down below. Also, make sure to check out Peekaboo Pattern Shop and Peekaboo Fabric Shop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more pictures of how the Bummies, shorties, and the skirt look, go check out my Instagram. I'll put a link down below to that as well. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!